Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Dig Talk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Omusajja bulijjo muwa ssente mu kibanja mpola ng'asonda poloti ennungi naye ngenza okutuuka nga woofiisi bulijjo wenteeka ssente baavaawo nadda essimu tebazikwata kyokka nga n'ebyentambula byakaweeregga ebiseera bya kovidi yegandabye
gwe baakubye naye lwaki weesiga abafere lwaki tewanneebuuzaako ne nkulagirira ba praise nze be bannyamba nze njokke.
Praise Property Consultants Uganda Limited bagula n'okutunda ettaka kw'ossa n'amayumba bapunta ettaka ne bakwanguyiza okufuna ekyapa bazimba amayumba kw'ossa n'okuba plan ne architecture design balina ploti enteeketeeke wonna w'ogyetaaze ate ku byapa ebya private Miloland n'ebibanja ku ttaka lya Kabaka era bakkiriza ekibanja mpola basange Wandegeya mu katale ka KCCA Southern Wing leve ey'okusatu lw'omu 128 oba ku ssimu 0706 147 06 ne 0783 823
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent.
Koyo okulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come. Men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna gwoyagala musajja yenna gwoyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyanjagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
morning, Uganda. We are back, we are better, and this is the Mighty Drive Show. We are live from Lukulinanganda here at the Alternative Uganda main offices in Konge. If you don't know Konge, Konge is located in Makindye Division. That is if you know Nanganda sub-county, then the real village is Lukuli. So yeah, we're in Makindye Division and we are in Kampala's capital, right here to serve you, ladies and gentlemen. In studios, I am with Rogers Turiaha. We will be joining you later on, and Luwedde, Lilian, Omumbejja, to also dissect on what we call the in-house Thursday. Unfortunately, we are not going to have Teddy Tenjo Nabukera, who is not okay, a bit sickly right here and there. We should pray for a quick recovery to you, Teddy Tenjo Nabukera, and hang in there, my dear. We shall miss you today. My director is Jeremiah Muchibi, and he's doing it solo as what he does, because he is a legend at this game. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome aboard. This is the Mighty Drive Show. It airs every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. To 9 a.m. We promised you that we break down having a conversation with Uganda, and that is what we do. We break down having a conversation with you to make sure that you're an informed citizenry and make informed decisions from an informed perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start the show, special shout outs to Norman, to Muhimbise. Yeah, thank you so much for always waking up and watching us and listening to us as we dissect on these issues. Another special shout out goes to Mukose Arnold Anthony. Thank you so much, my programs director. He makes sure that everything you see here is always of good quality, and make sure that this is excellent service. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And yes, yesterday, the President of the Republic of Uganda, that is Yoweri Tibuhabura Museveni, he addressed the nation and, about the reopening of some sectors that were closed due to the pandemic. You know, from 2020, that was on March 18th. That is a day that many Ugandans will never forget, because the president came out and he issued the first guideline that was to, that was to open up a series of guidelines that were to come for the next 2 years. Even up to now, we are still ravaging with COVID-19. It's not only Uganda, but the rest of Africa. At least Europe and some other countries have been able to, fight this pandemic. But Africa is still troubling with COVID-19. People are anticipating, and scientists especially, that the third wave of COVID-19 will be coming through. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep wearing that mask, keep sanitizing, keep social distancing, and make sure you go out for a vaccine so that you can be vaccinated in real time. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me just peruse you through what exactly the President of the Republic of Uganda had to say yesterday night. That was in his speech that he was giving yesterday. Allow me start off with the places of worship. Today, you are allowed to go to church and maybe congregate, but you have to be a maximum of 200 people. 200 people will be accepted in the places of worship, and they should be social distance, that is 2 meters apart from each other, to make sure that COVID-19 keeps on, we keep on fighting this disease. So he also emphasized that people have to wear masks. That will be exactly when they start to congregate as a family, as a church, as the Christian family and the Muslim fraternities. In all places of worship should be strict to 200 people, and then there should be strict adherence of the standard operating procedures. Those are the SOPs. And furthermore, functions, weddings, burials, parties, house parties, and whatever you call that, you are also allowed to go have your fun, but not exceed 200 people. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you know that you want to organize yourself a wedding, a birthday party, and people have been organizing birthday parties of late and wedding parties, I don't know if people are happy alone. I don't know if people are meeting partners, but that is a topical discussion of next time. This time around, we are talking about functions. Functions, you are allowed to just, congregate and come together and have yourselves a good time, but you need a maximum of 200 people. So we shall be waiting for you. And please adhere to the strict SOPs, 2 meters apart from each person, to make sure that the virus is contained. But the question remains, is this the right time for Ugandans to really be opened up? Some people will say, yes, we need to be opened up, but sometimes when you look at these things, you want to say, man, I don't think it's the right time because people have not actually been vaccinated up to now. The president anticipates that in the next 2 months, there shall be a total of over 5 to 6 million people that will be vaccinated, and with that, we shall see the reopening of schools and the reopening of other sectors that will be dependent on the people who actually will have received the vaccination. Still on that, the president directed the RDC's DSOs cows, and with the cows are meaning CA, or those are the chief administrative officers. We used to study about them in our primary school. But so he says the particular people should actually, spearhead the campaign to finish all the vaccines by the end of this month to make sure that people have actually been vaccinated. He also pointed out that if they fail to make sure that people have actually been vaccinated and the vaccines are spoiled, because they are going to be spoiled, they are going bad, let me say that, by the end of this month. So he says if there are vaccines that will not be used, and that means there will be money that has been wasted, or the people who are in charge will actually be sacked or will actually be sent away from service. So he ensured that RDCs, those are resident district commissioners, and the cows, the chief administrative officers, the DSOs, the district officers, should make sure that these vaccines are actually used. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for keeping it the Mighty News Updates, where we keep you informed, giving you insights on what is happening in the country and across the globe. And in other news, bars, concerts, and whatsoever, performing artists, beaches still closed. So if you are thinking that you're going to be having fun anytime soon, and most especially people who like to maybe take a bit of beer, 1 or 2 here and there, still you're going to be taking these particular drinks from home, because discos, casinos have not yet been reopened. Casinos have, by the way. It's discos and the performing artists and beaches that remain closed until the estimated 4.8 million people have actually been vaccinated or more. Until those people have been vaccinated, my dear, you're going to still be embracing the e-performances. Those are the e-concerts, and also continue to drink from home with your partners and with your family. And he also said and emphasized that drinking is not something that you should be really, really proud of. But hey, it's a liberal world. Everybody does what they want. So that is what the president was saying. Bibanda and cinemas, those people who enjoy VJ Junior, VJ Jingo, VJ Chiwa, alongside cinema halls, ladies and gentlemen, you are still locked up to now, unfortunately, because he says for our Bibanda, our Bibanda Biafewali Ewaka, they're first of all, they're inbuilt in a way that there is a lot of heat inside, and it's not, it's a place that you won't really encounter and say, people, let's address a few people and let's bring in few people or something. It's something that people will actually just enter, and there will not be guidelines or something like that. And there is a ventilation system which he says that has worked in Europe to make sure that this virus continues to spread. So he says they are not going to address, they're not going to open this Bibanda because of the aeration and the ventilation, which can actually furthermore spread the COVID-19. I think curfew remains at 7 p.m. up to 5 a.m. So continue. Borders should stop movement at 6 p.m. Those ones still remain intact. And the good thing is casinos, gaming, mwabaka papla, betting shops and gyms are open up to 6 p.m. Yes, kati mwabakubi bechuma, casinos, abasiba kusente, abazanyazala, mwabakiriza, continue doing your trade, but you have to stop up to by 6 p.m. you should be done. Weekly markets of Talibwa weekly markets will be opened, but with strict adherence to the standard operating procedures, and the DPCs will make sure that these guidelines are actually enforced. Ladies and gentlemen, reopening of schools is not yet, but they say they're going to consider it by next year. That will be the 1st of January 2022. We shall be having the president direct on the future and the fate of the schools. In a projection that is made by the president of the government, these students, there will be a total of maybe 330,000 students that will have been vaccinated, and maybe that that will be a bit safe for the reopening of these particular entities. Remember, next year is going to be a very, very good year following the World Cup that will be coming through. That will be November and December. It's the first time they're going to be playing it in that time of the year, and we shall enjoy that, trust me. And we'll be home watching the World Cup 2022. It will be live from Qatar. We pray that Uganda can actually make it to the World Cup this time round, which it has never done in the last, I don't know how many years we have as a country. As I come to the end of the show, I don't know why Rogers Tibuhabura is smiling, and but as you come to the end of the show, of the updates, we have the post-secondary institutions. Those are the vocational schools and technical schools and universities to reopen maybe by 1st November. This will be something that I don't know if it's going to be, the president did not highlight if it's going to be the candidates or the finalists who will be going back, or the whole universities will be going back. So that is, maybe I would ask an informed Rogers Tibuhabura, who is right here with me, and he is ready to give me those fashion tips. Rogers, good morning. Why are you looking at me and laughing? By the way, when I'm with Rogers, you just know we're just having a colleague talk. He's my colleague, but a friend of mine as well. Good morning, man.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Why are you so humble today?
I've always been humble.
No, I know you offset. Otandise okunda mu Luganda.
I'm a gentleman and
olulimi lwaffe olunyanyumbe oyagala kutuyimba. Good morning.
I'm a gentleman and I have always been.
Yeah, gentleman, you're a gentleman, but reserved and calm, no. You know, gentleman does not mean that you have to be calm.
90% of other people disagree with you. Very well.
No. A gentleman is seen in the actions he does, not in the words he does. I may speak a lot, but I'm a gentleman. So
I am both gentleman
and introvert. I didn't talk about innocence here. First of all, Rogers, before what is your take on what the president had to talk about his address, the reopening of the churches, and let's start from there.
I think churches, it's one essential ingredient in society, beliefs especially. People need to have hope, and people get hope from beliefs, especially this kind of thing. So
should we say these the pastors are like what they call, what are these people? There's a name I'm really forgetting. Where you go and sit and talk to them, and they're therapists.
Yeah. No,
they are the African therapists.
But you see, generally, religious leaders are more like real political leaders.
Yes.
And people listen to two people, especially in society, a political leader and a religious one. So if they don't believe, you see, it's easier for people to start an uprising because of the words of those people.
Yes,
spirit.
By the way, very
so
true.
If people lose hope, especially in leaders, political, the alternative is the other side. And especially in times like these, people have lost hope, and they need that hope.
So you think President making a move of reopening the churches is more of to bring back sanity to the people? And
I want to believe that the opening of churches was because of the pressure of the people. People are losing it, man.
Yeah.
People are losing it. People don't have work. People don't have money. People are starving.
I see.
And the only alternative there is that hope in some superior being. So I want to believe. I personally don't think it was the right time. Because
me too.
Because opening sooner means if we have not healed entirely, we are going back.
That is the thing, and you have not vaccinated yet to say that maybe you're going to prevent this thing from coming back again.
Yeah, so it's not safer to open.
You're blocking a camera.
Okay. It's not safer to open if we are not entirely ready. But
then, for the sake of the consciousness of people and sanity, yes.
For the sake of sanity, I want to believe that that's why the president had to open churches.
Discourse artists are not yet ready, but they also bring soothing to the people through their music and performance.
Yeah, but how many people? Okay, for fun, but also you can still enjoy that. You see, it's different with churches. When you go to church, even if it's you and me, the way you feel when you're in church is not the same as being in front of.
I miss church, by the way. I really miss.
So for sounds, you can agree like get your friends together, get in the same place, do your music, and dance and shout and have fun. So that is it can still be optional, really. You
Okay.
can still do without that physical appearances.
Wedding burials and other, get-togethers are allowed, but with a limit of 200 people.
Yeah,
So
that's-
birthdays are going to be
That's a little bit fair. Well, for
birthday
me and
showers,
you,
baby
birthdays-
showers, birthday what? Every shower is now allowed.
For me and you, that is a loss because I mean,
Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Studio Hub, you're not here to talk about the presidential speech. You're here to talk about the environmental tips. Give us what is happening in the world of the environment.
Okay. I want to keep this open. I hope you'll still be engaging. Today I want to talk about the Climate Change Act. Last month, the president assented to the Climate Change Bill, and it's passed and it is law now. Wow. So the Climate Change Act informs the actions we do as a country, the private sector, what they do, the companies, the production processes, and the whole setup of everything that we do and how it affects the environment. So it's a chigalo for
Is it
the
like
president
looking
does.
in line of mitigating the climate change effects?
It's technically is, and the good thing one else is it's giving the UNFCCC, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, to take law in Uganda. So it's effective. Now we have always had issues with implementation, where especially for international laws, they are there. They can only be persuasive, but they are not binding. And because there are no mechanism and channels of implementation has always become a problem. Okay. So maybe having a climate...
You're using low terminologies, yes, because you're a lawyer, but my viewer out there wants you to tell. What do you mean persuasive but non-binding?
Okay, persuasive is in a sense of... for international laws, okay, let me start from the local one. In Uganda, for example, you have a constitution. Yes. When the constitution is being... like Bajikwata Konga, you have always had, there's a place you have to run to. If someone is encroaching on your land, there are land laws. Yes. There's a court, land, can go to court and whatever. Now, the problem with the international laws is when they are being passed, it's a discretion of states, parties, to subscribe to that law.
To subscribe to that ideology. Just to the whole world is believing in this, you are also believing in it. But there is no
force of implementation. There is no force of implementation. Yes. Now that is the issue we have had with UNFCCC. UNFCCC is it's a good law, especially as far as the environment is concerned, but its implementation has always been in question because it's only persuasive. Yeah. The states are not so much obliged, even if they are signatories, they are not so much obliged to respect it.
Like other international laws that we subscribe to.
So that has always been a problem, and they said, actually, let me read from the Act itself. Yes. Section 3. It says, the purpose of this Act is to give the Convention, UNFCCC, its protocol and the agreement the force of law in Uganda. So it means
ebbago lino lyakuleetera UNFCCC okubeera n'amaanyi mu ggwanga lya Uganda.
Thank you so much. Uganda, sometimes
I'm definitely a good
you are trying to do better. But that is one of the pluses I had. Yesterday we were attending some event by CAS, and this lady, the MP of Chibuga, Kaya Christine, was talking about it because she has been part of the people who formulated the bill before it was the act, and they pushed for the bill to be passed for like 2 years. It had been too long, and it was an achievement, and she was really happy. So the majority of what this law is doing is to inform us. It provides a regulatory framework for monitoring, reporting, and verifying the impact of climate change and the implementation of programs on climate changes. So one of the things she also hinted on was that since we have this law, the activities are happening around us. We are saying that we are going to be monitoring what happens, but there's also a provision of reporting. If you live in a community and a certain individual does something that's contrary to the law, you have the mandate to report to them. So that means it's no longer about the government should be looking out for this.
For the lambarers and what.
Exactly.
You also have, you have a responsibility.
It's a collective work. And that is what I've always told these people, that at the end of the day, the work has to be collective. we always
You can never do something in isolation with the people.
No man is an island.
Definitely.
We have always had this issue of the government has not done this, the government has not done that, but we are the government.
Definitely.
It's me and you and our brothers, it's our cousins in parliament and the other leadership offices. So if you want to tie it around the government, always running to the government, it has not done ABCD, who is in the government in the first place? So this law is good that it gives all of us the mandate that if something wrong is happening around you, it's not you to just go on lamenting that the government has not.
Like how many like how Ugandans like to lament and just hey, but they don't like to talk about.
You don't go lamenting about what some government has not done.
Yes.
Become the government. Report what is happening. It starts with you.
You do your part at least.
Do your part and report someone who's not doing their part, who's doing contrary to what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
So it's a good law in that sense. It also enhances the ability to adapt to the adverse impacts of climate change, build climate resilience, and develop a mechanism for enhancing low greenhouse gas emissions.
Climate change
behavior. So at then you see they are saying we are looking at adaptation means and mitigation. Of course, we can't wake up one day and say, we are going to work on climate, and so seasons should be coming in though they are supposed to. But what we are doing also is mitigation. Mitigation is in essence that we know that this ABCD is happening, but we have plans like this to avoid them.
To avoid them.
Or to as they happen to us. If we cannot entirely avoid them, as they happen to us, we have measures of living with them or fronting them, fighting them, so that next time we have better. So it's good to have mitigation measures. It's like
climate change is a problem that we have to keep on fighting. You don't have to stop the work.
It's a progressive work.
Definitely.
It takes time. It's not something you wake up one day and fight.
And the problem is Ugandans like those things that are okugulawo. You know when you do something that is a service that is not measured in or tangibility, it becomes very difficult for you to see the progress.
To measure the progress.
Because and the impact, you're like, let it gain that. But it grows over time.
So that's a good thing. Mitigation is so important, and building that resilience mechanisms. The resilience is you're building communities, you're constructing them in a way that if something happens to them, you have like a skin that is not going to penetrate. I'm using the skin as in.
That's a symbol.
It cannot go through. It cannot affect you that much. If drought is going to happen, exactly. So improving people's resilience towards climate change events and impacts that comes from climate-induced events is very important, especially because in a country like Uganda, where our backbone is agriculture, everything works around it. And so if we do not have that resilience, if we do not have measures that mitigate the impacts that come along with the events of climate change, we are headed for doom. That's a fact. So it's so important. It was good for me, especially as I was going through. We had a good some number of questions for that woman, and she was, I must say, informed enough. She has been in part of it, and she also
for 2 years, and so that means
she's a part of the committee for the natural resources in Parliament, and she has been there even in the previous Parliament, but in the committees, not as an MP. So it's a good plus. It's also, if I may read another one, is it provides for the institutional framework to coordinate, supervise, regulate, and manage all activities related to climate change. So which is another plus. You see, most of the things happen, but some of them affect us because there are not enough structures. If there are structures for going about it, we can avoid this issue of jumping to conclusions, of jumping to the government has not done this. If we have, for example, because they were saying that a part of climate financing, I'm coming to that, is even going to come from the local government. So if it comes to local government, you do not wake up and say, the Minister of Energy has not done anything. The frameworks, the structures. You saying if
which has not been here.
It has not been here. So this law is important. You say that something is happening, someone is cutting down those trees and they're not planting others. It's going to affect all of us. And if it affects you, do not run to the minister. Go to the local government. That is the nearest you have to start from.
Yes.
If it is not worked upon there, you can push the local government, if it's out of their means, push the local governments to go to the next structure.
Yes.
And then eventually that problem
There's a systematic approach.
It's not something is happening, Mr. President,
which is a very common norm in Uganda and African communities.
So it's one thing that also is affecting, and another is climate financing. I've always had that problem, and UNFCCC talks about the global north, the industrialization. One of the other segments I talked about it. Climate financing, majority of what happens, impacts of climate change come from the big emitters. And big emitters are those in the global north. And we have always said, if those impacts, for example, Africa,
we're not part of the global north.
Majority of the impacts we have for climate change come from the doings or works of the global north.
Definitely.
So the answer
that is why the people have always been saying, if the other people are the ones who are doing it, why should we be worried?
Thank you so much. But you see, the problem with that is one, the impacts of climate change have no boundaries.
Yeah.
So even if it is in the US
that is doing
that emits greenhouse gases,
even you in Africa here, you're going to feel it. You're going to dance to the tune.
Exactly. It's like I was also telling them in one of that segment that a majority of the companies, especially in the global north, are depending, raw materials are especially gotten from Africa.
Definitely.
And now, first of all, we feel the impacts of the absence of those resources because they're being appropriated to the other countries. And on top of that, the after effects
come back to us.
Come back also to us. We share the after effects. So it's a double jeopardy.
We are in the same ecosystem, I guess. Let's use the word ecosystem.
So it's a double jeopardy. We have that, and then after.
We shouldn't just bury our heads in the sand and say, okay, we're not doing it. But whether you're doing it or you're not doing it, it's affecting you.
It's coming back to you. So our climate financing, we have always said international laws like these are also saying that we should also look at the other big emitters financing a good percentage of the climate events and the impact. But this also law, the Climate Change Act now, for Uganda specifically, says climate financing has to also come from the ground up.
Oh.
Like I said,
so you're not going to depend on the donors and the international communities.
No, Auntie,
their handouts.
We had the belief that the money should be coming from the big emitters.
Yeah, because they're the big emitters. That's what I was
saying. They are, but they are not obliged to give us that money.
Aye.
So what this law says is this: that even as we wait for them to contribute,
how can we start our own?
Thank you so much. How can we channel from the ground up? We know that we have measures here. We have tried to mobilize some resources to fight these impacts as others meet us from the middle ground. So it's not a burden that we're just going to throw onto them. Because at the end of the day, okay, we are not big emitters, but at the end of the day, we also do some things.
Yes.
We have had forests cut down.
Yeah. Now, we have lumberers here and there.
Mabida forest is almost going.
It's almost, definitely. I think 22% of Mabida
has gone. There's this forest, what is that forest? Bugoma, we have had issues. We have
even up to now.
They are almost cutting it down. So those are the things we also need to look at. And we are also emitters, because you see the good thing with trees is that the impact, like the carbon dioxide, those gases are being they are calling what? Like I'm forgetting the term. That the trees consume those gases.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we have those forests that we have, the little we can do also, the little can
is to protect them.
Thank you so much.
Simple.
So that is one of the things. We had a forest in Vosoga. I am not sure if it's still there. It had issues from way back, from around 1976, when the Madvanis were trying to buy it off and plant sugar
canes. Yeah,
we had
the Madvanis have become Madvanis in this country.
We had a number of cases against them, and I'm not sure. I'll make research and come and present on that. We had the same with some other in Bunyoro, where it also had to do the kingdom. By the other kingdoms, both of them. The Vosoga is the one that also sold the other one off, and this one's also sold this one off. So You see that even ourselves, we are not utilizing the little we have. As we want the big hand, we also have to have the starters.
Yes,
the Baganda, you know Uganda, Bagamba.
Definitely.
So we need to do that. We do our part. And then the other people can also meet us from the middle ground. If I may go ahead, the response measures, the department, climate change department,
yes,
shall within 1 year after the commencement of this act develop a framework strategy on climate change for Uganda. Now, the framework strategy, is in the approach. It's also in terms of measures that there's a strategy against the happening of climate change. That as events happen, we have strategies laid down to front them, to counter them. If we are saying that there's too much flood, for example, in Kasese, we should have strategies for countering something like that. We have mudslides when it rains in Vududa. We have framework strategies.
That has been a challenge, Rogers, that we've had over time in this country, is that we first wait for things to happen. Then we do something small, and then we forget that it's going to happen again. Then it happens again. Then we remember again.
Thank you so much.
That is typical of an African community.
And we have this disaster preparedness ministry. I think
it comes after the disaster has happened. Yeah, not
I don't know preparedness where that goes. So a part of the strategies
preparedness, I don't know. Well.
So a part of the measures and strategies, it's to prepare for events like those. That if Vududa, we know that has that problem of mudslides, can we have these measures and strategies in place that we prepare before an event happens, so that if it comes along, at least we have like 60% figured out, and so a lot of people are not affected. From the previous Kasese floods, people lost their homes, man. And a number of them actually died. So that's something that's so bad, and it affects all of us, and it affects the country as a whole. So at the end of the day, having strategies is one thing that is so important.
We need the strategies.
Which is the preparedness now.
So that's where the preparedness comes in, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just Ministry of Disaster, but also preparedness.
Exactly. So it's so important to have that strategies in place. Another thing, the framework strategy on climate change shall guide government in planning and budgeting for financing and monitoring of climate change programs and activities. So part of the strategies, part of the preparedness, is that as you do the survey, you understand how much financing it needs. You know how to approach that, and maybe if you wanted to source for funds, if you want that now, the hand from the other source, the big emitters, if you want the hand, you also have the strategies laid down for the implementation of what you need the resources for. So it's so important that you not wake up one day and go. We have had that problem in COVID times. We have had a lot of borrowing, and we have had that borrowing do almost nothing. Yes, I think it was yesterday I was seeing on the news that we are preparing to borrow, I think 1.9 trillion.
Oh God, more money.
We are preparing more money. We are borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. But the problem with borrowing wouldn't be a problem ordinarily. But the problem is that we are not prepared for
the money we are going to get. What are we going to use it for?
So not having measures and having strategies and having the financing protocols is what causes the misuse of those funds that we borrow. So we do not pin the government. When we get back to the government, we don't pin them because they are not doing enough. And we don't pin them for borrowing money. But we pin them for borrowing money when they are not
without a plan.
Without a plan. Thank you so much.
Okubi ekibimba naye nga tumanyi ogenda
zikozesa ki.
Now
that has always been the problem, and that is why we say that this law, especially in regard to climate change, we have the measures, we have the strategies, and if we go for financing, as we do the local financing and look for the external finance, we have the plans laid down, on how that money is going to be utilized.
Definitely.
And that is something that is so important, especially as a growing country. We always have this vision 2040.
You started the vision 2030, now it's vision 2040.
2040, we are advancing to extending procrastinating.
Trying to be the middle income status by 2020.
Exactly. No one has talked about it in 2020, the whole of it. And 2021 is almost ending.
We've forgotten.
20
Maybe we want to be
we have forgotten that.
Yeah.
And the more we procrastinate, the more we feel those
there is a statement that used to be in my school's compound. Procrastination is a thief of time.
Exactly. And you see, we don't always have the pleasure of time. Time never waits. You see, it's always there, but it's not always there. You have time for doing certain things.
Yeah.
You cannot always have time. Not always. There's just time for everything. If something is meant to happen in a certain period of time, it should happen. If it does not, trust me, you'll feel the impacts of not having done it that time. So the part of having a plan is so that the target goals that we have are being achieved within the time frames
that we had set for ourselves.
Exactly. In the environmental world, those of us, we have a goal of 2050, which is living in harmony with nature.
Yes, by 2050.
By 2050. And you know how many years there are? 30. They're only 30 now.
In fact, they're 29, Kat.
So in 30 years, we want to live in harmony with nature. But we have the SDGs. We have a decade of action is, by the way, between 2020 and 2030. It's a decade of action.
Those are the sustainable development goals.
So we want by 2030 to have achieved. Thank you, to have achieved the sustainable development goals.
Which is also
but we are not even 5% into achieving
any of the sustainable goals.
So
and we have a period of 9 years now.
Of 9 years. Technically, 9 years.
9 years, someone will say technically there's a lot of time, but
they will think there's time.
But when you look at the sustainable development goals and look at the time frame, you'll think about it.
Exactly. And as we were setting the middle income status by 2020, when was that?
That was in like early 2000, I think, or 2005 there.
About 20 years.
About 15 to 20 years ago.
We have not achieved even 20% of the middle income.
And Tanzania has achieved it in like 5 years.
So if anything, we are going down. So you see, the preparation is good.
Yes.
And laying, having goals and objectives is good. But having plans for achieving those objectives and goals.
It does not only work where you're saying, Rogers, it works everywhere. In life. People set goals. But then, what are you doing to achieve that goal?
Thank you so much. So it's that preparation, it's that planning, and tireless efforts working towards it. And you know that also happens, as I've already said, it doesn't happen by individuals. It happens as a collective. You see, we have leaders, but one will wake up and be like, I'm going to government, but it's corrupt. And so for that matter, what exactly am I going to change? When you get there, you also want to be like, and
everybody again, people no longer go to serve, they go to eat.
But you see how it begins with you. You go do something good, be a good steward. Maybe another person, as they come, they'll be like, I want to do like someone did.
Yes, exactly.
So as Edgar went there and served, as much as he was one rabbit in the middle of lions, he did what he had to do. And I think he did well. And I want to do like he did. And before that, with time, it's contagious. People start changing.
It starts with you and Nang.
It begins with all of us. So we need to leave this idea of ngenda mu parliament ngenda kola ngabola abatwa manifesto I am going to do ABCD. There's nothing you're going to do as an individual.
Yes,
that's the fact. It's nothing you're going to do as an individual. It's a collective responsibility. It's why I was very happy about this act, that it's giving the mandate to every individual to not always look at the government as the sole contributor and the sole problem solver, because the government is us, And so
you
it
and
is
me and the
you
person
and
watching
you
us today.
to do our part. We are the government.
Okay.
There's no one who's going to come from an alien species that's going to implement this as a government. Government is me and you, and we have to do our work. And if we do our work, we progress mpola and we get there. And I wanted to also mention the fact that by the way, planting trees, I did not tell my colleagues that here at Alternative. Last weekend, I went tree planting in Mpanga Forest in Mpigi. And I planted 10 trees, each in the name of one of us. So Edgar, I planted me. I planted Jeremiah, I planted Lilian, I planted Arnold, I planted Norman. With time, you guys should go and check yourselves. and we had a gentleman this very week, was it this week or this week, who was saying, I am a tree.
I am a
that
tree.
Campaign.
Yes, that campaign.
So I cannot wake up one day and go and cut down Edgar.
Yes.
I cannot. I will not go and cut down Jeremiah.
But you will go and cut down Lilian, definitely.
I will not cut down Lilian. So,
as we come to the end of the discussion.
I was bringing that up, so it helps us. As you plant trees, maybe naming after someone will give you the hard time to cut
moral
it down.
decency of saying, let me not cut down my person.
If you want to cut them down, have Edgar replaced with his son.
Yes, definitely. In fact, with his first son, that is the campaign.
So I want to implore people to plant more trees. Man, we need trees. We need trees more than anything.
Definitely.
It's a very big mitigation measure for climate change. Plant as many trees as you can.
And there's something I always say here that the trees, the shades we enjoy, the trees we enjoy today, were planted by someone who didn't know that Rogers would use them. I have someone calling who wants to talk about the trees. Good morning. We're talking climate change and environmental change.
Yes, good morning, Edgar.
Good morning to you.
Yes, first of all, I like to thank Rogers for the insightful discussion and topics that and pertinent issues that you raised.
Yes, please.
But first of all, I even wonder what kind of leaders we have in this country, whereby they are encouraging and calling us upon to plant more trees. But these are the same people that are giving out forests and our trees to our forest reserves to investors. And one wonders, what kind of message are they sending to the public? Should we continue to plant trees, or we should borrow, we should copy what the government is doing by giving out what is already there that we invested them with, and then they are encouraging us on individual level to plant ours, yet the public what is being given out. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for the insightful discussion. And topic is so pertinent that without forests and trees, it's not only going to affect us today, but even as the generations to come.
Thank you.
I encourage all of us to preserve, conserve, and protect the environment. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you
so much.
Thank you. He said it well, and it's not going to help us alone. It's helping the generations
to come. And by the way, about the government, where we planted in Panga, next to it was a place, a forest that was planted by the World Bank, another by URA, another was by URA. So some institutions are trying to do also their work.
Yes.
I want to implore that as we do individuals, also as I wish if companies would also do that. That MTN wakes up today and plants 1,000 trees.
Yes.
And then tomorrow Airtel plants 2,000 trees.
These corporate
and then
entities
Alternative
should come
TikTok
by.
plants 50 of them, 100 or 200 or 500. Every one of us, at the end of the day, we will have enough. We'll have enough. And the generations, man, depend on us. And that's a serious
And when
thing.
you cut a tree today, that means your son is not going to have a shade to rest in tomorrow.
And the good thing with that, you see, when COVID happened, we all started running to concoctions, which come from the nature. But we have not seen
that we have to give back to nature.
So if COVID is going to happen again, and if concoctions have worked for you, something, other disease that's not corona might come. And the cure could be coming from trees. So why not plant?
From a tree that you're going to plant today.
What does it take away from you? The land is not there. Don't give that as an excuse. There is land. If you want to plant trees, there is land. And trees are there. Uganda,
National Forest Authority, NFA
gives out trees and seedlings. And even if you can't, if you can't locate them, reach out to us. Me, myself. I'll try to make sure that you get the trees if you want to plant them. And if you want a place to plant, do the same. We shall find a way out.
All right.
Thank
you so much. Rogers, before I let you go, Ole Out is the new trending thing on Twitter and other social media platforms. Manchester United may have lost a game against West Ham.
And you have a hashtag Ole Out.
So what's your take?
Except the problem.
Do you think he should go out?
I don't think he should. We have the greatest goat in Man U.
Yeah, he's the greatest goat. He's
scoring
goals. He wasn't in that game, unfortunately.
Either way, we were very sure if Ronaldo is coming back, man.
Titles are going to... Now we're exiting Carabao. That is one title already out.
We're just going to go that way. So,
but now we are going... Ladies and gentlemen, that was Rogers Tibuhabura. He is an environmentalist right here at the Alternative Dig Talk, and it's always an insightful discussion, having a conversation with this gentleman. He has talked about a lot of things. We've been talking about the legal entities in the climate change perspective in the country. A new act has been passed into law by the Parliament of Uganda that is going to protect the climate and the environment of the country and the world at large. So why not? This is one thing that we should really thank the legislators for. They do a lot of things wrong, but definitely there's time that they have tried to do right. So after 2 years of battling, this thing of maybe bringing in the legislative agendas that will help the climate mitigation measures and adaptations, finally, they have been passed into law. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to protect the environment. And Vision 2050, which we just talked about, we may be on the right track, on the right trajectory to protect and live in harmony with nature by 2050. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a short commercial break, but when we return, I have Luwedde, Lilian, Princess, a favorite to many of you. I don't know why. I'll ask her definitely why people like her a lot, but then she will be here with me, and she has a couple of news stories, starting from what has been happening in Masaka, that is Sewanya and Segerinya, granted bail, but still remanded at Kigo prison. We don't know why this is like that, but Lilian Luwedde has all that information for you. Don't go anywhere, don't move a muscle, because the mighty drive continues.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent.
Kwe okulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna gwoyagala omusajja yenna gwoyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke bino bintu byasenga nawe ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde ttu yakedde ku makyabbaga nti nsitudde ttu naye nga mu butuufu agambye nti akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative TikTok. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Digital etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo mu maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop, and smart TVs. As we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative TikTok.
Alternative TikTok. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from that short commercial break. We are back. We are the Mighty Drive Show. We air every Monday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. As promised, we fulfill, and that is what makes us the Alternative Uganda. I promised you that Lilian Luwedde will be joining me right now. And definitely she's here looking... why are you laughing? Looking lovely as always. Good morning, Lilian.
Good morning.
And before you say anything else, why is it that you're the most liked person on the Mighty Drive? On the debate behind the wheels, according to a survey that has been made, you are the most liked individual.
Oh, I'm so humbled and blessed at the same time. But good morning, Edgar.
Morning.
I don't know why I'm the most liked person.
Okay.
I really don't know, and I didn't know that you're going to talk about this. But you
are the most liked person on the drive.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is it the eyes? Is it?
I don't know.
The smile, I don't know.
No, I really don't know.
I
can't tell. I think it's the debate that we have.
Okay, you've looked at the...
I've looked at what?
You've looked at for the debate. Why don't the eyes or the smile?
I don't know.
Let me not put you
I don't know.
Sija
basalirawo ku nsonga lwaki banjagala, but I think over the debate the in-house Thursday. That's what I'm thinking.
Of course, that's what you would say, because that is Lilian Luwedde. Lilian, good
morning, viewers. Banange, thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Yes, you people are liking, you people are commenting, you people are following, you're sharing. Thank you very much. era nga nze mbabuuzaako yonna era nga mbaga mati mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala kyemukola tukisiimira ddala era nga naawe bwennyini bwobanga it's your first time okutulaba just know this is the in-house Thursday bwe tukikuba tukikuba versatile ng'omwami omu bw'atera okwogera tukikuba versatile tukikuba eno n'eno tubawo ne amawulire those are the mighty global news we have the fashion tips just lwakuba leero omukyala Tenjo Teddy taliiwo naye nja kukayisaawo ke yantumye okubagamba we have the environmental tips from Rogers to Yahweh and then we come back me and Edgar netubawa netubeera nga tu debating obanga twogera ku nsonga ate ezibadde mawulire ezibadde zigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga so thank you very much bwebanga munaye it's your first time okutulaba weebale nnyo weebalire ddala kutegeeza nti n'omulundi omulala tujjanga ku Mighty Drive ebeerawo from Monday to Friday it's 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Era olwaleero nalwo tugenda kuba twogera ku bintu bingi
definitely naye nga tetunaba kwogera ku bintu bingi sooka oyiseewo Teddy ke yakuwadde tuyingire mu business
Tenjo Teddy ku fashion tips waliwo obuntu omu bwe yaŋŋambye just okwogerako obuntu butonotono okugeza ku bakyala bw'obanga ogenda kugula olugoye ebiseera ebisinga sooka omanye olugoye luno bwe luteeka ku mubiri faanana ntya era bwe ndugula bwe mba ndoozezzaamu emirundi egisukka mu esatu kiki ekigenda okuddirira ku luno lino olugoye because most of the times tugula engoye nga tomanyi nti bwe ndowooza omulundi ogusooka n'ogwokubiri omulundi ogwokusatu lunadda lukyantuuka obanga luleegulukuse so ako nako tulina okutekinga ate not era yanga mwami Edgar bwakogedde then nekirala okublending the colors nti toyambala colors zisukka mu ssatu ku mubiri gwo sanga oli nga yambadde olugoye nga lulimu ekimuli oba blouse nga ya bimuli ng'ebimuli birimu different colors naye nga ne wansi ayambaliddewo skirt naye ng'erimu ebimuli ate birimu different colors ezitakwatagana na colors eziri ku blouse oba ku top egy'abeera ayambadde so awo nawo ate tusimbewo nnyo essira nti bw'obanga oyambadde colors zireme kubeera nga zisukka mu ssatu so ndowooza bwe yantegeezezza
obutonotono nawo munange kanyongereko katono the dress does not come with the body bw'oba oguza oluti akateteeyi tekajja na mubiri bw'oyinza okalabira ku ddami wali n'ogamba it looks smart. First look at your body as well. Because the dress does not come with the body. Ziba zina calves, nokalaba nogamba nakagoye nga kanyumidde olugoye naye nga tegwa omubiri gwo si gwe gwa ddami okiwulidde nga gwe just gwetaaga buno the dress does not come with the body okyuseemu kokatonosonaye okuba olulungi naye ne lukuboola naye nga terukufiti like nga terunyumira ku mubiri gwo most especially abantu abambala jumpsuits oli ayambala jumpsuit nga tasoose kweraba nga bw'aba atambula oyinza obutayawula adda mu maaso oba adda mabega Lilian atotandise kusombera bannayuganda osombye babi naye but Lilian tugende mu mawulire Lilian yabaddeko mu musango guno ogw'e Masaka Lilian kitegeezegeddwa olunaku lw'eggulo twategedde nti no Sewanyana ne Segirinya they were granted bail on Monday by the way naye wakwa banks zaali closed on Monday lwaki ambyogera nako Lilian Luwedde yabaddeko Masaka amanye mawulire gonna tubuulire ki ekyabadde mu musango gwa Segirinya ne Sewanyana why are they still in prison up to now kusinziira ku Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago ngono ye munnamateeka waabwe yayongedde okuba ng'atangaaza ku basibe bano omwami Segirinya ne mwami Sewanyana nti bwe bagrantingibwa bail basabibwa buli omu okuwaayo baningi gye bakiyita mu lwakuba kyerabidde nti buli omu ng'alina okuwaayo obukadde 20 yes era ssente ezo ne zisondebwa miliyoni 4 era ne ziweebwayo era okusinziira ku mwami Elias Lukwago bwe yabadde annyonnyola nti bwe bakikola ne babagamba obudde bugenze abasibe bano bayinza okuteeba olunaku olw'enkya so ne basuubira the following day okubaona mawulire twajja tubawa tumanyi ffe baabatadde naye ate nekitasoboka kuba nti bateekyaliwo luli omwami Elias Lukwago bwe yayongedde okunnyonaga nti fayiro yali tennatuuka babagamba mulindeeko fayiro ate esooka etuuke fayiro ate bwetuuka kwegamba bali awo nabo balindiridde okulaba ki ate ensonga lwaki abantu bano bannabakubanga nga bateebwa era nga bo bakyali mu kkomera because olw'ensonga ezimu oba endala zitannaba kubanga ate zirambululibwa ndowooza poliisi ejja kuba yongera okunnyonnyola ensonga lwaki abaami bano bagrantingibwa bail naye ate ne basigala nga bakyali twawulira nti waliwo emisango gye babateekako ne bayongerako ejob to terrorism and abating terrorism n'okusasula
Elias Lukwago yategeezezza yesterday nti omusango gwa terrorism tebaguwoleza wantu walala wonna wabula mu Kampala era bwe bajja ensonga zonna zikolebwako nezikolebwako ebintu nebiggwa naye ate bo bakyewuunya okulaba nti abantu bano bakyali
ekitegeeza n'ogwo omusango nagwo baadde bagutaddeko nga already ku charge gwabadde kwewaweeredde bail it was part of the charge sheet. Okay, then Lilian, you as an individual who has investigated these things, what do you think, what does this mean for our judicial system? Because judicial system kati tulabye enfunda eziwera nga kooti esalawo ebintu naye nga ate amagye oba prisons amagye kangajjemu prisons oba security forces omuli police tezituukiriza ebintu bye baba bayogeddeko. Does this show that we are a country or are we under the rule of law?
Because nsuubira okuba nti judiciary ne security bakola hand in hand, like bakolaganira wamu, because bwongamba nti omulamuzi yasalawo kino ate nekibanga tekiteereddwa mu nkola
mirundi ebiri, because ngenda kujjukiza ojikaliwe babagamba ba remanding mu Kitalya
batwala ekigo
nate ne batagamba na muntu yenna ne balooya baabwe ne batabagamba
because bo bagendayo bagenda
Kitalya nga
tebanoonyayo nga babagamba wano tebaliwa tebali kigo
nga kooti yabadde precise. It's not the first time nebubuini babimukolako.
Nze ndowooza nti the judiciary nayo yennyini erina okusitukiramu mu nsonga nga zino, because bwe baba nga be basazeewo ne bagaa nti bano bagende mu kkomera gundi balina okubanga nabo bamanya ensonga lwaki bano batwaliddwa mu kkomera gundi ne batwalibwa mu kkomera lino. Yes. I think ne judiciary erina okusitukiramu, sigamba nti mwe mutoye butoyi nti okay omusango guwedde ensala yaffe ebadde bweti ne bweti nekikomaawo. I don't think China komaawo because bwe kiba nti oba muyinza okuba kati awe nebuuliza lwaki ebintu nga bino bibeerawo nti bano abantu tebakolaganira wamu ate nga balina okukolaganira wamu like the police and the security.
In fact, the three arms of government have to work in coordination. For example, the executive, the judiciary and the legislature. Byonna birina okukola in harmony. They are all independent. Gonna amasiga gali independent, but they work together to rule the country and to push it forward. So, wolabanga judiciary esazeewo ekintu ng'edirects, because a court it directs police, because the constitution egamba the court is the one that directs the what? The security organs. Yegamba kati omanyi police tukuwadde amaanyi mutwale erigenda onoonyereze kweno ensonga. It's them that give the security organs the power to do their work. But then we have seen in many instances court being contradicted by other arms of government. Police gye wali suubidde oba prisons gye wali suubidde nti you know what, tubawadde order twala omusibe ono oba toono omusibe naye n'olabanga emusigaza obanga eba yakamuta tubayo enkooti mirundi mingi ng'ewadde abantu bail ne babata ne babakwata n'okubakwata ne bayingiza emmotoka zino ne babatwala aba security organs oba ajo kyabeeko ondoozi ojjuka abasiraamu bali nga babata ne babasanga ku kooti ku madala ga kooti nga bakafuluma ne babakwata ne babatwala. Lilian, do we have a rule of law in our country, or there is something else happening here?
I think weeri naye erabika bateteekebwa buteekebwa mu nkola. Omanyi waliwo okubanga ekintu weekiri kyogerwako naye nga bwe kiba nti kiteekebwa mu nkola.
Implementation.
Yes, okuteekebwa mu nkola kwakyo okulaba nti kwa kiboggwe obanga kubulamu. Nti oluusi kyogerwako rule of law weeri naye nga bw'otuukira ddala ku nsonga yennyini oba ku kinyusi ky'ensonga eno ogenda okulaba nga eyinza okuba nga teriiwo.
Tuli awo tuli mu matankane nga mpale z'Abaseveni bwe baali bagambanga mpanvu si mpanvu Lilian ebintu bino oba obitegeera otya? I think nga tumaliriza story ya Segirinya ne Sewanyana.
Actually mwami Utafire
the Minister of Internal Affairs
yabadde jjo nga ayogerako n'ababaka bano ate ab'e Masaka n'ayongera okuttaanya ensonga eno n'agamba nti mwe mugamba nti mwe mwawangula ekitundu ekyo mutuyambeko okuzuula abatemu abatuufu abakola ki abazza emisango abatta abantu
ababaka ye police. I think constitution mandating abalina onoonyereza tewaliwo ukyali kyogeddwa that the members of parliament will actually go and start to investigate. It is the police and the security. Okay. Definitely. Naye ate jeno kutafire atera nnyo okwogera ku remarks oluusi zemba I find them really not uncalled for because olaba luli yagenda kwogera mbu ku frontline yali ku frontline agamba okuttibwa okuli Masaka kuzenga bamaze kulonda opposition kati ng'alinga agamba nti lwakuba ekifo kyalonda opposition tekyetaaga kubeera ne security. I don't know what he was asserting, but in my perspective I thought he was asserting that because when you say that you voted for opposition obanga agamba kale opposition ebayambe, but opposition is not in power at the end of the day. You are in power and olaba victory speeches abantu abanaggwano by presidents ab'enjawulo bagamba yadde tewanondo obeera president wange kati president Museveni oba tewamulonda Lilian if you didn't vote for him, he still is your president whether you want it or you don't.
Nabange ebintu binaatengi Minister n'engeri oba gye yabibalaatiddemu mu ngeri
nti kyekyo kyenkugamba
kubalaata abantu bano bafudde namba y'abantu because police yegamba abantu abafa baali 26 okusinziira ku bo engeri gye banyonyolamu
26
abantu abo namba nnene tosobola kubazaawo abamu baali bataata mu families ez'enjawulo bw'otandika okwogera bw'oti obanga akudaalira bali oba abalaatira bali abakola ki abaafiirwa. So I think Minister yongera okutunulamu ate mu nsonga ezo.
Okay. Abali mu kutulaba olunaku olwaleero mutusindikire comments zammwe mutubuulire ku kiki mulowooza ku remand ya in fact ku bail ey'ababaka Ssewaanyana ne Sseggirinya mulowooza ki ku kino ate musobola n'otukubira ku masimu ne mutubuulira enamba yaffe ndowooza mugimanyi eri 0789017145 ojja giraba ku screen awo ng'etambula endala ya Airtel eri 075913 2310. Tukubireko ku simu otubulye kikyolowooza ku remand in fact ku remand and bail of Sseggirinya and Ssewaanyana kikyolowooza ku musango gwabwe oba ne comment was dropping Lilian ajja kuba zitusomera in a few minutes from now. Lilian, twogere ku nsonga ndooza endala omupresident w'eggwanga gye yayogedde eri eggwanga kikyasinze okunkwatamu ku mubabiro kwabadde okuwoninga ko yabadde wa RDCs ba DSOs n'aba bakauza chief administrative officer ng'abagamba vaccine we zitaggwaawo by 30th September temukomawo kati bazirwanisa ziggwawo balwabuwomi bashogeneda okuggwawo lwabuwomi kitegeeza zanguwa yebagambye temudda.
No, I think
because kati bagamba vaccines zebaleta zigenda kuggwawo zino okwononeka by the end of this month. So tulina okuzikozesa mu nnaku 7.
kansooke ntwaleko saidi omukulembeze w'eggwanga
nange for the first time
nti ba RDCs bano ba cows besuliddeyo ogwa nagambo like okumanyisa abantu okugenda okwegema oba okwongera okubunyisa enjiri y'okugenda okwegema. Abamu balowooza mubaka wa parliament yalina ekyogerako president yennyini
buli kimu bakirekedde parliament na gavumenti ate gavumenti wabogera gavumenti
omukulembeze w'eggwanga kituufu nnyo ekyo nze nzikiriziganya naye babaweeko ku nsalesale bakole omulimu gwabwe gwe balina
okukola. Mu nnaku 8 ezitaggwaawo oba bagenda kuzirya buli bagenda kukola ki balina okuzimalawo
abantu because nze nja kubuulira amazima kawo simumanyi ow'omu kitundu kyange simumanyi
nze manyi Fred Bamwine oyo ow'e Masaka bamuwulira ne kati alina kaseke bamugjayo ati gwe tuwulira kozi ne RCC Hudu Hussein owaffe wano ne Burorwa waffe gamba noogu abanaganda tulina omuntu wetuwanyumira.
Omukulembeze w'eggwanga nze nzikiriziganya n'ekyo yayogedde bano ba RDCs bakawo ba diso bani ke kaseera tubalabe nga mukolera wamu okusobola okulaba nti tulwanirira oba babunyisa enjiri ey'okwegema kw'abantu. Omanyi bannayuganda bangi nnyo bwe bawulira okwogera okuva ew'omukulembeze abaliraanye nti oba chairman ayiseeyise nagaba ne mugende mwegeme
bamwesigama kwaye bamumanyi
Ochulide kati abannayuganda nabo wemba kubira omulanga tibaba nga bayiseemu bategese bane mugende mwegeme bane eddagala bweriri bane mujjumbire leka tujjumbire tuleme ate eddagala lireme okuggwawo tukomewo nga tugamba gavumenti eddagala liweddeyo nze ate biki omanyi bannayuganda bangu amangu okusala omusango ochulide nga babagambye mukole kino ne mutakyenyigiramu naye at the end of the day ne mujja nga gavumenti feta tukoledde kino gavumenti tewali ddagala tetuyambye ochulide naye nga ffe nyini bannayuganda ffe twesuliddeyo gwa nagamba bwekituuka ku nsonga nga zino ochulide nalabye ne Buganda nayo yasitukiddemu batongoza engoma eyaggwanga mujje nga buli weenaakubibwa nga baganda beefumiitirizaako ku ki kye bakoze mu kulwanyisa ekirwadde kino kirumima mawugwe ekyatugira mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda so bw'olaba nga buli omu avuddeyo okulwanyisa ekirwadde kino lwaki naffe tetubeera basaale nti nammwe ba RDCs ba diso mwena kano ke kadde okulaba nti abakulembeze mukola ekyo kye mulina okuba nga mukola muleke okulekeranga emirimu nti MP yajja okukola kino kale chairman else omanyi chairman else wano yatuukirwako mu nsonga ezisinga
yatuukirwako buli kimu naye bamuwa omutwalo ogumu omwezi
gye mitwalo 12 omwaka kyova olaba naye ebbaluwa
ajja kusaba ebiri kwegamba zaafuna omwezi azifuna mu lunaku lumu
sinza akyogedde
nzembeerayo
naye ba RDCs ku luno omukulembeze w'eggwanga naye yasitukiddemu n'abagaa kakati eddagala lino bwe litaggwawo mu nnaku zino ezisigaddeyo
don't come back
naye kati bwe bane bolina bateriwedde
nga tebadda
ng'olwo bayiwanga baleeta abapya tuleete abantu abanaasavinga
kikulemye okukola kabaleete munnayuganda
nsuubire kino n'abasigadde banaakiyigiramu nsaba n'abalala bakiyigiremu nti bwe banaaba tebakomyewo ng'omukulembeze ddala kituufu akakasizza tebadda ennaku ezo ne ziggwako ng'eddagala teriweddeewo tebaddira ddala naye kino kibeere ekyokuyiga eri abalala kireme okuma ku ba RDCs naye n'abatasaavinze abalala nti abaateekebwa mu offices nga tebakoze kye balina kukola nabo batunulwemu
kale Lilian ku nsonga yennyini eya President Museveni okwogerako okweggulo yakutte amakanisa n'agaggulawo nakkiriza nti abantu 2 babe nga be bali mu kanisa ezo nga basaba naye n'agamba tebalina kusukka time ya curfew nga bali mu kusaba balina okudistancinga meters 2 okuva ku buli omu ku munne tebalina kusukka nusu 2 abantu 2 yes 200 people mundabayo olowooza yayanguye okuggulawo amakanisa because nze personally before nga tunayingiramu
personal opinion yo nganze nyino so
ati go wedda uli mu opinion ati wedda opinion kati mbadde jasoke nkaisewo nze ndaba amakanisa gante kale soko isewo ladies first let me be a gentleman abakwagala bangi abakwagala
olinga compromise
ati wala kati naze kansi kanene kukyogera
this is my view nzenga na Uganda sawa zino kati siri mu kwogeranga mu namawulire nzenga mu Uganda ndimukiriza nnyo naye nze ndabiranga ddala omukulembeze w'eggwanga alinga eyayanguyemu
me too
I don't know ba wabaddewo pressure ya amaanyi
oba ebizibu bingi mu society
omukulembeze w'eggwanga alinga eyayanguyemu bw'abanga yali yawa ennaku 6 amakanisa okuggulwawo ennaku 6 zibadde ziweddeko I don't think so naye nze ndabira ddala ng'alinga eyayanguyemu okuggulawo amakanisa gano nzijukira ku mulundi guli nga tetunabagenda mu lockdown amakanisa gaali gagguddwawo okiwulidde naye covid-19 bwe yeeyongera I think like kyaleetera abantu okuba nti jjukira abantu bagenda mu church okusaba from different walks of life onavudde nonavudde litomanyi wajja avudde okiwulidde ate togenda toyina gwe kuuma kamukebera kulaba nti ono mulwadde ojja mulaba nga akolola naye ng'ate talina bulwadde otolaba atakolola nga yalina obulwadde so abantu bano we bagenda ng'ate ne beeriraana ennyo I think nakyo nekyongera
okusasanya nebasinza mu kanisa wonna ne bazina ne batuuyana kwegumulayagala mbuno
nti ojja kwesanga amakanisa agamu gali mu hotels waliyo AC the AC kweri ate bwe
nagamu genyini galina air condition amakanisa
nti like empewo esibwa iringa eva mone saturate edda wali bweti naye nze ndaba ngo omukulembeze gwanga yayanguyemu nti engeri gye kiri nti amasomero tegannagulwa amabaala si magule I was thinking n'amakanisa gali sigadde kubanga abantu nnaku zino badde badoptinze enkola y'okuba nti basabira ewaka okiwulidde ate naye kennyini omukulembeze w'eggwanga yatugambanga nti bannange newaka osobola okusabirayo katonda ali buli wamu okiwulidde kati nze ndowooza singa yali nze ninzeemukko abantu ennamba gye yagamba ey'abantu obukadde 4 nesooka neegemebwa okusobola okuggulawo
abantu we have had the same problem we had in the first wave of COVID-19 even in the second because wotunulamu twakolanga ekintu because omanyi when you sit nga wagamba ne taking a cover COVID-19 naye agenda kusirika because temweriraganye naye we muddamu ne mwegatta bwe muti addamu nako kansokalize anti neddamu we muddamu okwegatta COVID-19 addamu spreading ekintu ekisobola bayamba obuta spreading COVID-19 nti mubeera mukoze eki mugemeddwa challenges here numbers ez'abantu abagemeddwa si nnyingi kyekisooka si bantu bangi abagemeddwa naye era obakkiriza okubata kituufu naye obadde obatadde nga ebintu ebibeera n'ebinyusa ebingi bibadde tebikola ki bibadde tetunnabifuna nga onagamba amabaala onafuna amacaaki amasomero gabadde gakyali magali nga nomo petty trade akola agenda mu maaso naye nga abantu tebeegatta kati ozeemu otadde public gatherings omuli birthdays omuli weddings ezireeta abantu awamu ozeemu otadde amakanisa ate kati gwe Museveni ogenda kukyogera mu bulungi president nti omanyi there should be 200 people naye we tugenda mu kanisa ziri kubanga katwala kanisa nga katukakwenga Rubaga Cathedral no kale kangeni na Membe Cathedral it's a very big church abantu bibiri obeera katono we bati wanne wa Robert Kayanja church yenene abantu bibiri obanga it's not even like 5% of the seater kikulaga kinti era ye ajja kuteekamu incapacity ye gyalaba fitting mu kifo kye kati ateekemu abantu aliwo amakanisa amalala agatagenda following COVID-19 guidelines agali mu byalo bo omanyi olwo abantu nga bo balina blind obedience bo bakkiriza Yesu yabanaaza omusaayi agenda kubakola ki kubawonya I'm telling you
blind obedience
yes blind obedience nga boli bagenda kwerebera COVID atuuke wali ayite buyisi bantu be mujje tusabe mujje tukole ki tusabe Lilian olooza ekirwadde tetugenda kulaba third wave ng'ekomawo because tebannaba kugema abantu
Edgar, I think it's Teso region
yatandise ravaging abantu
yes
up country kyekibakola
and Teso region teri far from the central region oba one mu central oba mu Kampala
yes true
nti abantu batambula abantu oli nagenda mu kyalo nakomawo ono nagenda eno nakomawo I'm thinking omukulembeze w'eggwanga yalize munasooka revising ensonga eno y'okugulawo kwa amasinzizo n'okugulawo kwa public gathering
that's why I can go back at Genesis 1 in just like a day or two
kati awo kyelinga kyotegeeza nti tulinde weevu esongeddemu
balyoke baggalewo it's a sad statement but it's true because kati nga woolaba egenda kutugenda kulinda eryokeddemu olyoke ga bannange obulade butuzzeemu
anti nabo ojjukira abasumba bano bwe baatabukanga bagamba nti tebagudde makanisa naye ekikubo kiggule ojjukira olutalo olwo olwali awo nti tebagudde makanisa naye ekikubo kiggule abantu batambula nga bwe basiimye abantu batambula nga bwe baagala
naye onaaba ogenda kukola ku pleasing everyone onaasobola because Lilian, let me tell you, even if it's just an organization like the Alternative Uganda togenda kukola decision Lilian ajagale Rogers ajagale, Edgar ajagale, Jeremiah ajagale, buli omu ajagale. It's impossible. There are some people who actually have to be disenfranchised. Nti bo bagenda kunyigirizibwa because bo tebajja kukkiriza mu kyokola. Gwe kasitoba ng'olina conscience egamba kati saawa zino ng'akyagadde amabaala. Amabaala nga bazadde bakabalo bwe nalaba wiiki in fact eno wiiki yennyini ku Lwokubiri baavaayo ne bagamba ffe tugenda kuggulawo. Anti nakuza ggwayo president alina kye yayogedde tugenda kuggulawo. Okitegeera? Yes, buli omu ali mu mbeera embi. But at the end of the day, there is what they call greater good. Kyenkola kigasa abangi. Wadde ono ayinza obutakyagala omu. Naye sigenda kuttisa abantu mutwalo because Lilian anyiza.
Anti mwami Noma natero tugamba nti waliwo okukola ekintu nga it's the right thing to do. Ne wabaawo n'okukola ekintu nga it's
what
good.
You want, it's good.
Nga kirungi naye nga si kyekituufu kyekirina okukolebwa so.
And good kibamalireyo because kati awo bakomeza mu kkubo. When something is good, it is good for you.
It's benefiting you alone.
Yes.
When something
when
is
right,
it's benefiting a number of
the whole organization.
So amakanisa abasumba oba bannaddiini
mwagala ndiganfu
wano wetusabira nammwe ate musituke mubeeko n'eddoboozi lyemwogera eddoboozi ery'omwanguka lyemwogera mukulwanyisa ekirwadde kino ekya covid-19 because at the end of the day bwe kinaddamu okiwulidde kiruma ffenna
endiga zo zigenda kufa
sijja kwogera
kwogere
kayinza okundeetera obuzibu
ate buzibu ki this is the mighty drive
no Edgar yakutukaleke naye abasumba bannaddiini wano wetubeetaagira because abantu abamu bawuliriza nnyo omusumba waabwe ayogedde ne bawuliriza nnyo ng'omukulembeze waabwe ayogedde okiwulidde nti oli ayinza okugamba gwonne bw'onooyogera oli bisaati
babayita bakaceere
oba bisaati munnaa naye nga mukulembeze ba munnaddiini bw'anaayogera oba omusumba bw'anaayogera ajja kuwulira
ono Edgar Masi Karuhanga ajja kwogera Lilian agambe gw'oli kaceere
bwana abasumba tubeetaagira mubunyise enjiri okusobola okulaba nti tulwanyisa ekirwadde kino ekya covid-19 tuleme kubeera
ffenna we be stakeholders buli omu akole paati ye bannange
buli omu akole
tekisosolamu oli mulokole oli musiraamu oli ki oli mulema it gets everyone Lilian olwo akaterekeka kweyo ensonga ey'amakanisa oba opening of public gatherings and weddings embaga no zifuuse embaga ennaku zino abaana beewasanga ettabbo naye tujja kukyogera nzija loading ladies and gentlemen this is the you're bride right over bride ladies and gentlemen this is the mighty drive eddakiika ziri endowooza wetwogerera ziri 28 ze zaakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya kyalina omukyala Omumbejja wano tunyumyamu ku mboozi
Speaker of Parliament omwami Jacob Olanya n'agamba nti amabago gonna agali mu Parliament ey'ekkumi mu y'ekkumi naye mugajja mapya tegadda bwe biba byali eri chapter
yanyumiddemu yagambye every government business bills ezaali zikoleddwa zonna nga tezinnaba kuyisibwa ntulo nti president tanaziteekako mukono oba waliwo ekyali kibulako zonna zigenda kubeera redebated buli kimu kipya mudda from scratch ekitegeeza waliwo amabago mangi ge baali bakola NSSF bill yali mandating abannayuganda okuba nga bafuna 20% of their entire savings as long as they've saved for 10 years and more so bakiziza mbuto wansi sino libago lyokka waliwo ebago
kwaliko sexual offenses
sexual offenses egamba mbugo okwatibwa tukamba ddiini tino wakukutte oba tokwatiddwa ebyonna byalimu eryo sex offenders sex offenses bill olwo amabago mangi Lilian gibaali Rebecca Kadaga ne 10th Parliament gye baali bakozeeko nnyo naye kati byonna kumpi byaziddwa wansi okujjako nti enkizo bagiwadde NSSF bill bagambye NSSF bill yo egenda kubanga ekola mangu mbagirawo president yalizaayo mu parliament era yazeemu ne 11th parliament n'alizaayo nga tebannaba nakugamba mbuno bagadde mbuto NSSF bill badde bagizizaayo president agamba mukyalimu ekibulamu so Speaker of Parliament bagenda kuna bo bagenda kikola expeditiously omanya ayagala nnyo obugambo obwo nze mbukopa nnyo ku Jacob Olanya I'm a fan of Jacob Olanya we're going to do it in an expeditious manner. In a month's time, we shall have debated and tabled the bill again to the president. To the president of the Republic of Uganda, Jacob Olanya. So ketwebuze kyavuddemu mwoyo ki?
Nange kyeneebuuza era ekyo actually bwe tutuuse wano kye kimu ku byesoose okwogera
wakimbuze off air by the way
ddala mbutuufu I mean Parliament ababaka
because webaba bali baleka tukikoze lwaki mwe temujja ne musayininga ne mulikiriza lwaki mujja ate mu
yetagadde mwali yekennenye bali basooke bali tebolinge era ne mu Parliament
yalimu kibalenge ate yali deputy speaker
sichitegeera kino kyaze kitya but
isn't that wastage of resources and time kale in fact yayogedde mu statement yagambye mbwakikola ba MPs bakola omulimu gwabwe yagambye we want the MPs to do their job.
Olwabali mu Parliament ye10 ngera bakomyewo.
Anti kati abana abatali mu Parliament ye10 niyo bati bakomyewo. So olabye ddala mbuno ye yakikoze nga alinga agamba ba MP muweera nnyo ne mutuula ne munga temulina kye mukola mwetolola mukandiko college amabaga ago gennyini bba mutandikira kati among
ojjukira bwe yasuspendinga entula za parliament olw'ensonga nti baminisita abamu tebakyakiika actually yategeeza tulina baminisita abasoba mu 8 naye mu house mulimu baminisita 5
tulina 81 ministers sorry
n'asuspending entula za parliament paka nga baminisita bano bazze okukiika mu parliament ababaka bano bajja ne boogera ensonga eziri mu bitundu byabwe nti eddwaliro lyeno teririna muddagala oba oluguudo lweno lwetaaga okukolebwako naye nga minisita avunaanyizibwa ku nsonga eyo ate nga mu parliament taliimu suspendinga entuula
baministers bo boogedde nnyo ekintu nti constitution kale webagamba ebagamba they are mandated to report to the president gwe bagenda ne bakola ki ne bareportingira wadde balina also answering to the parliament naye nga main person gwe balina okukola ki okureportingira abeera president
mukyala nabbanja naye n'amuddamu omwami ono anfuukidde ki buli bwagenda ku tv
yagamba kuva dda nga bakamulonda ye yamugambirawo
yamugamba mbu tasobola kulembera oba na business ya kasasiro something like that
naye mukuluse mu Uganda oluusi oba ebigambo bye kale wadde abantu musajja mugezi kituufu ate ye bamuyita musajja ateeri antama ajja kwogera ekimuluma kyonna kyakkiririzaamu naye oluusi nze for me saagala nnyo kino this ideology of thinking that the elite are the ones that can run government okitegeera because katuwoga Nabbanja mukyala Nabbanja by the way I like Nabbanja omukyala Nabbanja bamulabyenga because the prime minister is the head of government business. She's the head of government business. Yakulembera buli kimu ekiva mu office of the prime minister and the president.
Because she's a woman.
No, it's not because she's a woman. It's because she's more of a normal woman. Oba kitegeera nti Nabbanja si ye muntu ow'amasapesape. Nabbanja si ye muntu alinga asomye nnyo. Kyovula ne president yagamba.
Ku mukutu ogumu ng'agamba nti nze sijja kuva asula wa
gundi lungoja
wakaleri something like sijjukira bulungi nagamba abantu balowooza nti nze bwenafuuka prime minister ngenda kuva mu kitundu wembadde embeera nze sigenda kusenguka kgenda kukololo ngenda sigala wano ewange sigenda kyusa anti abamu
she's so normal that Ugandans think but we have an African setting in our minds that omuntu omugagga olina okuba nga ovuga emmotoka omugagga olina okuba nga oli munene olina olubuto olunene olina olubuto nga lunene olina okuba nga wasoma nnyo we think that abasomyeko be basobola okubeera before ebityo but Lilian, I beg to disagree with many people otuli abantu abakoze ebintu ebyannaggwano what have they done? Look at Mark Zuckerberg, a college dropout, a designing omukutu Facebook omwami wa KFC after 66 years ng'abadde abonaabona nga talina mulimu gw'amagezi we yaritaringa n'afuna miliyoni ze-10 n'agamba eza retirement package yange n'agamba ekintu buli kimu nkigezezaako mu nsi ya Mukama naye I've not done anything kankole ku nkoko yange jjajja wange gye yansomesa enkoko ye yamufuula kyali at 66 years njagala abantu bajjemu kino ekintu mu bwongo bwabwe nti omugagga afaanana bw'ati oba okitegeera nti woba oyambadde t-shirt bweti mutolina kugenda ku mpewo n'okola lwaki omuntu olina okwambala amasuuti ng'ogenda kukola story
jjajjange bwe yagenda ng'oggula engoye ng'agenda mu ngeri gy'otayinza na kusuubiramu nti onayinza okubaako engoye zagula eziweza emitwalo 10 ng'agendera buli awo bulinga busapatu ng'alinga omuntu wa wansi naye yagulanga engoye nga bwalwambala bw'ati n'atuuka mu kifo olayadderanga muntu wa kitiibwa lugoye lwa buvunaanyizibwa nga yayambalanga nnyo amasuuti actually omukyalo oli ayagala nnyo okulabika obulungi naye nga yagendanga n'agenda okugula engoye nga buli omwami bamutwala mu zino ezalayisirayiri
kyekyo abantu abasinga kati bwe balaba Nabbanja nga asobola okulinnya bodaboda n'agenda n'akola nolaba Nabbanja ng'ayogedde Oluganda Nabbanja n'ateesa na buli omu n'ayogera na buli munnayuganda n'agenda n'ayogerera kuba kati n'adde bambi nawulidde ekyansanyusiza yagenze n'ayogera ku floor of parliament in fact n'akyaddressinga ne wa president ku live omupresident yadda wa address gyo n'agamba waliwo bodaboda ez'abannayuganda ezikuwatiddwa kati ye omuntu nga prime minister bawulira nga akoze ku nsonga bwezityo ez'abantu ba bulijjo abantu nga baleka bagamba mbuki ate kati mubi ate talina kubeera minister ate kati alinga muntu wa mukatale there is a narrative the elites have that is something chwaze abantu ababeera bagamba omukutu Twitter ye yabagezi who says so who says yaba buli omu nti gwe Lilian oba kati okola ku TV sawa zino toyina kubuuza abantu oba toyina kubeera mu mbeera there is a way that society wants you to look like when they see a shine of success on you nti Lilian oba kulaba mba otandise okukola ku digital tebaagala oddemu kutambula bigere bw'otambula ebigere oba oswala oba okitegeera nti webalaba Rogers tuli ahabwe nga munnamateeka naye nga ali mu kuvuga kagaali iyo yabeera munnakyalo but they affiliate success with small things very basic like tubula woyambala esuuti ne tie bajaga banagwe bafuna sente nze njagala omuntu mulekerawo kujudginga abantu by the way they look judge people by the way they think era ni waba mu relationships muzimba mikwano je mufuna abakyala bwe mufuna biki stop looking at these small things because those things are changed Lilian enyambala yoso gichusa mu lunaku olwo osogera wali nogula amasuti nogula biki binene bichusa mu lunaku lumu naye togenda kukyusa bwongo bwo mu lunaku lumu Nabbanja akoze ye service era ne President Museveni yakyogera na bulungi nti agenda kukola n'aba fishermen atenze cabinet wadde agikulembera of prime minister alazigide ddala mbuye at least
zikira bweyagende kasese nagazi no blanket nedda tosawa muntu blanket efana nabwe
thank you kati omugwe wochukola wochiraba omizo kirabanga ffe tuyinza abantu because kati woyetagereza Nabbanja muganzi mu bantu naye si muganzi mu bakoligi be okitegeera kiba bakugamba we yalinya boda bakoligi be bameka abamuli wansi abasobola olinya boda ne bagenda ne bakola service delivery nga bali ku boda kati bo bamulabanga atali ku bo she's not part of them but then me who's down here a normal Ugandan I see Nabbanja as she's part of me. Okay. Good morning, welcome to the drive. Hey, wakede.
A few things I wish you guys give me like 2 or so, in fact more than 2 minutes. It's so hard. Edgar, Lilian, number 9 and the thing of African mentality, Mutumenya. There is no I think it should be the stupid mentality because they are also white who are stupid, like they are also Africans who are brilliant. The Nkrumahs of this world, Thomas Sankara, and so many were brilliant. So this thing is so Gabina Musiru with Jeko color, a food is a fool, whether white or black, yes, Musiru. Not the document
so Anyana.
I think for me, look, there hasn't been any perfectionism. The judicial system here, just like any other sector, of any other department of the government.
Yes.
Whereas the law can allow the judge to pour orders, when bail that you know. Nambye gwempika nyende yo nomusumulu era era bakizayo the government in mukana kuku katumushinge I have been arrested with my agent abakatuwa bail mu court ababa batone bweru omulyango gwa kuku ninga kufuna bail because they want to balina bakikolo kukamula bakumalimu bakajanja something they have that if it's better bullying
no man kankubuzeeyo akabuuzo katono our sanctity ne independence of the organs of government kati ebeeyimiriddewa amaanyi judicial system ekyagalina kubanga webeegambye nomani mumute ate ne baddamu ne bamukwata mu maaso ga kooti kiba kiraga kyeggwanga
judicial system just ng'abalala Edgar ikola bweti kati nga bwe mu Uganda nti eringa ogulene guno gujja manshipad nga bagujjamu amannyo kuddamu amannyo buli mu kikomera kubanga oli mutiitiisi nekubanga engeri gyegubogola bw'osuubira gwina amannyo omala kujja kulaba nga gwasamye nera nga gwina amalimu nga tegusobola kukuluma naye ate begutta ng'omutiitiizi ne gubogolera ekimunda asobola okudduka. So for some to say that analogies to mean gubogola waliwo obuntu obukolebwa, so as long as nga buli mu interest ya president naye bweba nga tebiri mu interest ya Museveni tebisobola kukola. So ne wano ndowooza tubanga kisaasa yawo wamubawe bamalomba wange mubeerayo akola mu masomero nabiri abiri ekyo nga njagala okuvaawo awo nti definitely because Mugilade bafunye bail singa bali tebagala kubata tebandowalira bail kubanga era kituuseewo tukimanyi n'osaba bail applying for bail for some good time. You know, Ferdinand has been in jail since Gwakubiri. You get the Ferdinand was alternative digital alternative social movement has been in jail since February. But because these laws also much as to Karuhanga tegakola nira wababa nege bakolera sorry begakolera MP bamukwata maidi akarumandi ka weeks billing nga yavaayo bakati omuntu wa wansi kisagala kwogera it's a bad thing bisimanga muntu wa wansi no the Ferdinand ndiruta asobola okumala ku remand omwaka mulamba ng'alinga safiga sentence sometimes asobola okumala omwaka mulamba ku remand naye nga sentence yo yandibadde ya weeks bbiri wa community service. That's your government eyo tuveeyo kati briefly munyumidde ne mukama wammwe ono omusajja awuta obuuki manyi nadde I was in boxing some colleagues ne bagamba nti saamulabye saamulabye kati kyagenda kumulaba kubanga manya agenda kuwuta kyayi ebirawo ebintu bye yatuzeeyo simanga mu 1986 simanga mu 2020 nga byakajja ebyo saamulabye sinange brief nagifunyemu mmwe naye mu byonna tenaggyemu kyekino mukulu Museveni aliwo omuzadde ng'ali serious agala abaana baleeta amazzi ewaka kati bambi mu buwongo bwe n'abasooka bagulira bino ebisero naye ebisero nga biwummula ebirimu ebituli n'abagamba mbawadde deadline mbabuulire baana mwe mulina okusiga tanki eno mu ssaawa 2 n'abaana bambi mukuba bali bamutya nga balina excited nga bamutya n'okumutya tebagenda kutagenda babatya misana ne baddukako mugga n'ebisero ebyo nga birimu ebituli kati bwe basena bajja bwe gayiika bwe gabayiikira kati beekyola asanga abatobiyegamba ate kati mukoze mutya ate muleese ate mazzi bamugamba omanyi muzeeyi kati katuddeyo tulabe that's what is happening with the vaccination isimanga vaccine zino bazimalewo muki
mu budde
mufanga lyabawadde ekyo tugenda okukola because amaze okubatiisatiisa bagenda kuzikwata nti what matters kutwala mu empty obwo tubawutwalira Museveni for auditing mu empties obwo what they take to Ministry of Health bwebu certificate si buno nga basayinizeeko yugeti nakubusitampingako He should win, but will he have achieved? The answer is no. So for me to say Edgar and Lilian, there hasn't been a good will to fight this disease. Moving forward, I know now the call census.
Yes, sir.
Abantu bajje Edgar beri waka ku Sunday balangirire buli muntu mu family babiri waka bajje bagende waka. You get as that. Sime kusauka vuyo kwanga ne bagamba social distance gomanyira ine yawa mangeje bagemera bali mu line ekyo kulinda ngulu tebatinga beera nakiriya ebirango bya mu media houses bikamba myaka bwegiti nako wali musomesa kati tegeera ana ina kugemebwa ana tayina kugemebwa ekyo tikiriya if it is open bagambe sio naye still they should come and immunize people from their homes kyangwe ebirango omuntu abanga eggala ng'okugenda omusomesa olina okugenda waliwo kategorize balina okugema and then what awo nga kasigala mu bbanga
ng'owunzika mwami Norman
awunzise Lilian ndowooza tuddukeko ku nsonga eyo nkubanga olina osoma message z'abatuuze just twogereko ku Kyambogo University abaana akenda ba graduating ze bagenda kukolako honestly speaking
no waliwo akenda mukenda ako waliwo abamu abadde bakola
kituufu no, let's speak from a realistic point of view. There is what they call labor turnover. Abantu abayingira mu for a company abantu abayingira mu company ne bakolamu ne bafulumanamu but there is excess labor. Woyodde kimanyi Uganda yesinga okuexporting abantu abangi abantu abakozi abaana there is an analogy I'm going to give you. Waliwo company gyemanyi ng'omwana abalongooseza ayina bachelor's degree from Makerere University, the prestigious Makerere University. That will be a talk of next time, but today let's look at, seriously, degree holders are now opting to start cleaning people's companies and houses. Bamwe mtwalo 10-15.
Edgar, ekizibu kino
kirina global by the way, tekiri wano wokka. Unemployment is a big problem.
Unemployment is a big problem. Naye ate tusooke tutunuulire the education system.
Okyo kyogeddeko nnyira mbadde ntegedde kyogenda okuleeta yo. Because that is the truth. It's the truth, really.
Yesterday,
the education system is so failed up.
Akantu kennayagadde ate nange ne kankwatako nnyo nti singa omuntu like omwana basobola ku identify nga kyasobola okukola
ng'akyali muto kyebakola mu Europe kyebakola mu bazungu ffe kyebaatukweka
omukyalo oyo yakoogedde n'enkagala
kyebaatukweka wano
nti mu should I say Africa? Okay, let me talk njogera ku Uganda.
Yes,
nti wano mu Uganda omwana agenda okwezula nti nsobola okukola ekintu bwekiti ne bwekiti nga it's too late.
Nga wayiseeyo emyaka nga 2 mu egi?
Bwe tubeera mu P5, P6, P7 buli mwana gw'obuuza akugamba nze njagala kuba musawo,
pilot,
njagala kuba engineer, njagala kuba pilot, njagala kuba hostess.
Tewayingira mu secondary.
Tewali mwana ayinza yali avuddeyo konaga nti nze njagala kusomba kasasiro nga gwe mulimu gw'ayagala.
Kubanga yateri agwagala twogera amazima.
Tutunuulirako abaana abayitidde mu technical schools. Waliwo abantu abamu abalina that mindset oba that mentality nti omuntu ayitiddeko mu technical school either baba tebeesobola financially oba bata like talina bwongo buyaawo okiwulidde
kyebaagala okuyita omusiru.
Nti abaana bangi nnyo bagadde nnyo these white collar jobs nti ajakira ku makya agende mu office atuule olunaku luzibenga
kyebabamanyiiza ye success.
Naye mu ssomero nze omulanga guno kati ngukubira Ministry of Education.
Yes.
Nti curriculum eno gye tugoberera eddemu revisingibwe. Babeka ebintu ebimu byewongeramu, babeka ebintu ebimu bibajjamu. Nti omwana yemu
bingi bye balina okujjamu Lilian.
Ng'asobola okukola ekintu nga kino, omwana oyo
mu moldingiremu ekyo ekintu kye.
Ne tubeera ate n'abazadde. Omuzadde nga yagamba nti nze njagala omwana nga abeere omusawo ayinza okufiirako. Y'ensonga lwaki tulabye abantu bangi nnyo n'asoma amaliza bulungi nnyo okusoma n'akwata empapula n'azizzeeka n'azikwasa omuzadde nti kwata nze waŋŋamba nsome
kati kangende ennyimbe
kati kangende nkola ekintu kyange kyenjagala oba kangende ennyimbe oba kangende nsamba omupiira nti awo nawo waliwo obuzibu nti abazadde bangi nnyo ayinza okumanya nti omwana nga
nesinga yamutandikiramu eyo talent singa yamutandikiramu eyo talent kyalibadde kitya
kyalibadde waggulu nnyo nti weesanga nti omwana ayagala nnyo oba okuba gita waliwo abantu abamu abagamba nti abayimbi babeera bayaayo oba omuntu oba dansa oba akuba instruments babeera bayaayo
ekyo kyenagambye waliwo abantu abalimu ebintu babirowooza kifuula nnenge.
But I think Edgar kino kivudde mabega
mu cultures
kivudde mu society kivudde mu culture okiwulidde kivudde
omwana yayingidde kuyimba omwana w'oyo
agenze church itself
agenze
church only oba n'emizikiti worship
places of worship
yes nti omwana ayinza okuba nga akola ekintu bwekiti balina bagamba no oyatandise ofuuka omuyaaga
naye ng'omwana ye
talanta ye awo wali obuzibu nti ebiseera ebisinga abaana abamu ajja agenda akole kosi si kuba nti ajagala
ekikolera mami
amala ogikola atambule empapula azikwasa omuzadde atambule agenda akole ye ku mutima gwe kyakola ki kiresa obuzibu nti ojja kulaba abaana bagraduating abangi naye ogenda okwesanga nga bagraduate
nga tebabikola ebyabwe nze nasoma n'abaana ku university nga ali mu journalism class nange naye nga yakugamba nze nsoma ku kosi gye bampa nsoma ekipapula nkimbere nakyo mala okubeera n'ekipapula nkitwale and I'm like oh god kyova olaba abantu bwe twasoma nabo wewetegereza abaana bali mu media practice class yali y'abaana ndooza nga 6 abaana bali mu media practice baleka balinga 10 abasigadde bayingira byabwe abasigadde bali mu kukola buli omu kye yawuliranga kye yalinamu emirembe naye ng'abagenda mbuno kati kaŋŋende ekintu kye nasoma because kinali njagala kye mba nkola batono nnyo
ne tuba n'obuzibu n'abantu
nga tumaliriza Lilian
abanyooma emirimu
ate be bangi anti alina
diguri sisobola kukola kintu kirala
alina diguri ate kati anaakola
olinakuba nti nze nina diguri mu kino nina diguri mu kiri sisobola kukola kino awo waliwo obuzibu bw'amaanyi olinagamba nti nze shanga nze nasoma nze nkola omulimu nga bampa emitwalo 10 ekyo tekisoboka
olina kyange kyali kya
miliyoni kyange kyafiira awo nze muzadde wange yaweerera ssente bweziti ne bweziti awo nawo tufunyewo obuzibu bw'amaanyi nti ebiseera ebisinga olina okukwata empapula zo diguri zo n'oziwummuza wansi
ebyokusoma obyerabire
nohasolinga nga atasomangako because omuntu atasomangako ye ekintu kyabeera ekimwemira abeera agamba nina okukola ennyo kuba nze saasoma okiwulidde like abeera kyegamba
abanye ennaku ye
munaku kaama okiwulidde keerandiza kokka abaganda bakikozesa nti bano abantu ngo abaana abasomye nze guno omulanga kati ngokubira abaana ebiseera ebisinga ebintu bino oba opportunities zino zigenda okujja nga naawe kennyini otaddemu amaanyi obanga weetegese nti ojja kuba wakafuluma mu ssomero tolina experience yonna olaba omulimu nga gwe mulimu gwe wasoma naye nga bakusaba experience ya myaka 5 naye nga togirina
nze ate kyensaba bannayuganda
naye nga ate osobola okuzimba mpolampola notandikira wansi noga kankoleko kano oluusi n'ogenda okwesanga ng'eno gy'oyitidde gy'ogamba nti kino si kye nasoma ng'ate osigaliddeyo ddala nga kye kintu ate ky'osobodde okuyitamu okusakisa
nze kati kyensaba bannayuganda kyembawa advice mwe abaana abamaze okusoma n'abagamba mbu manyi oli mu kusoma kati oba oli mu bulamu buno follow your heart following a passion yo weeri ekintu ekikusanyusa ekintu ekikuwa emirembe ekintu ky'olowoozaako buli lunaku nga oba okikola oba tolowooza nti okola mulimu naye nga just oli mu kukola bukozi oli mu kuweereza nze nkusaba following omutima gwo kola ekintu ky'oyagala wootakola kintu ky'oyagala oyinza ofuna essente yes naye tolifuna ssanyu eryo weetaaga ekintu ekiri kuleetera essanyu mbu naye oba tufunyeemu ssente osigala oli musanyufu bannange Lilian nsoma meseji z'abatuuze tuve wano kuba producer ngamba obudde buweddeyo
kituufu omwami Dickson Ojakol yagambye thanks for tagging me Carlos Young agamba great work comrade omwami tumuhimbise Norman kwali omwami Kato tumusiime kwali omwami Jeremiah Mukiibi ate naye kwali comments zonna zibadde zakwebaza bwebaza era ndowooza wano wenyini nnyo tugenda okuba nga tuwunzikira
katusiibule bannayuganda enkya tulina the voltage show yono omukyala yennyini yagikola abeerawo wali akawungezi kuva ssaawa emu mpaka ssaawa 3 ez'okawungezi abeerawo n'omwami Robert Mayanja ne Robert Chaguba baana basajja bamanyi politics bamanyi n'ebintu bye boogerako era n'omukyala ono abeera abeetegekedde nnyo ne producer waabwe Rogers
bano bambi mbadde sibasomye Princess Kaiso the first wave he opened with 70 people first mu makyaki ndowooza kino kyabadde ayogerako but 200 people now ndowooza naye yewunya bwewunya Princess Kaiso webale nnyo kubanga kwoli Innocent ayine byona yagambye ali mu kulabira Lwengo banaye wow thank you for watching yagambye I'm watching live from Lwengo Innocent ayine byona webale nnyo kubanga naye
yabadde mulwadde Innocent naye ali katumusabira asuuke bulungi
Rogers Rehabo yagambye it's simple there is just no institutional supremacy and independence okay ndoza ono tugenda kubanga tuwunzikira
bannayuganda mwebale kubanga mutulabye olunaku olwaleero mbadde n'omumbejja Lilian Luwedde the princess enchai obeera Friday omanyi Friday what we do we bring you the entertainment news and the entertainment field we talk about entertainment music producers sports anything era enjanja kuwaleetera sports kyabaddewo mu West Ham gezanya Manchester United eyo tujja kubyogerako next time naye encha yenda kubyowa amawulire encha yenda kuba amawulire encha naye kibadde kyasanyu nnyo nkoze n'omukyala wamuyita Omumbejja Luwedde Lilian mukyala wagonje wa mukyala mulungi ate mukyala bambi ayina empisa neyanziza nnyo okubanga mbadde naye era Lilian thank you so much thank you Rogers tulyahabwe leero akikubye versatile nga bwe batera okwogera abadde kumpi akikubidde wana ate akikubidde mu production tugamba omulenzi ekintu akitegeera kyakola mwami Jeremiah Mukiibi naye abaddewo thank you so much mwenna ba commenting there is Innocent thank you so much and everybody who has made sure that they comment. It's always a pleasure to have you. Quick recovery, my dear Taditenjo Nabukera, if you're watching, and I pray that you will be better. That will be tomorrow, so that you can come through for the entertainment segment. Special shout outs to Arnold Mukose Anthony. Special shout outs to Norman to Muhimbi Sekasometri.
Unless they inspect and count individuals entering the church, but this is a hidden opening enjoyment 400 people plus.
400 people plus. Good morning, Uganda.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.